What does it take to be a rebel? A new idea, new innovations, and the courage to make it happen. We're here in the exhibition From Van Gogh to Pollock, Modern Rebels at the Milwaukee Art Museum. I'm Minerath, here with Curtis Carter, Professor of Aesthetics at Marquette University and President of the International Association of Aesthetics. Let's go, look at this. So, Curtis, tell me, what are your impressions of the exhibition and the history of the collection?
Well, I think it offers a very nice overview of developments in the 20th century. You'll find most of your well-known names here and some not so familiar. This collection is one of the first dedicated to the understanding and appreciation of modern and contemporary art. It actually dates back to about the 1860s. It was happening before either the Phillips in 1920s or the MoMA in 1929.
It's a very strong survey show, and as you're saying, it shows this kind of development and transition that translates into new ways of seeing the world.
It took a lot of courage for the leaders of this museum to do what they did, because these were not household names. They were not paintings that would immediately excite or attract visitors, but they took their stand and they were very right.
So in this exhibition, one of the things that you mentioned is that there are a lot of household names and a lot of innovative artists. We're standing in front of perhaps one of the best known of the artists in the exhibition, and one that's mentioned in the title as well, Vincent Van Gogh. And this is his painting, The Old Mill.
In general, Van Gogh is certainly one of the great artists of the late 19th century, and this particular piece, if you look carefully at the brush strokes and things, you can see the beginnings of abstraction. What impresses me is the absolute precise clarity with which he depicts every line and every brush stroke.
I find it exciting as well when you look at the details, and it's the sort of thing that reproductions just don't often capture, and that's why looking at these things in person is so exciting. So we were just looking at The Old Mill by Vincent Van Gogh. One of his friends and artistic colleagues was Paul Gaugin, and Gaugin is famous for having had a rather exotic, very adventurous life. He wrote about this painting in his travelogue Noa Noa, and this is his mistress whom he lived with in Tahiti.
The clarity of the detail in the figure is strikingly in contrast to the more or less ambiguous background, where you have beautiful colorations of purples and pinks, and then you have this spirit figure.
I have to say, it is unnerving. It has this kind of psychological intensity, that sort of ambiguity. And during the late 19th century, there was a movement known as symbolist art. And this is what the symbolists are really interested in, and Gauguin becomes kind of aligned with them for painting not only the visible world, but also delving into this kind of unseen, spiritual, imaginative places. So we're here looking at Frida Kahlo's Self-Portrait with Monkey, and I think one of the things that surprised me at first about this painting was actually the scale, because it's really a very diminutive painting, but as we're standing next to it, it also feels very life-size, in fact.
Well, Frida Kahlo was certainly one of the most important artists of the 20th century. She was also married to a famous artist, Miró. But what has happened recently is that she's actually become more famous than he was in her own right.
So here we are with Joan Miró and his Carnival of Harlequin. Curtis, I know you like this piece especially much.
Well, Miró, of course, being one of the major Spanish artists of the period, has always fascinated me. I actually visited his studio once, and what he does here with his palette is to create a realm of fantasy that pulls together not only images of nature, but also manufactured images and a certain element of mystery that...
The Abstract Expressionist movement by 1952, which is the date of this piece called Convergence. was in full force, and Pollock was innovative and experimental in his manner of painting.
Perhaps Pollock is one of the painters that many people have the most difficulty with. I know even people who are very knowledgeable in art don't get it. Basically here he's introducing a new vocabulary into painting, which is not about line, but it's about articulating the inner consciousness in non-representational forms that simply let the feeling and the structure of the painting flow without any predetermined idea of what it must be. In other words, it's a kind of what one critic called action painting.
Curtis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and thanks for joining us here. See you next time when we'll look at something else.